Section 3. A shared 2026 vision, bridging the geographic divide.
Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into something that's literally reshaping our world faster than a fiber optic connection. We're talking about a topic that touches every single one of us, the American dream. But scratch the history books. We aren't looking backward. We're looking right at the here and now, the year 2026. Based on some absolutely incredible source material, we're going to see how young people all over the country are radically reshaping the very concept of success. Through their personal stories, it becomes super clear that the old blueprints for a successful life are just being tossed right out the window. Whether they're navigating the high-density blocks of our biggest cities or the wide-open spaces of America's heartland, this generation is redefining what it actually means to make it. So buckle up, because the future of success, it looks wildly different depending on where you're standing. Okay, so before we get into 2026, let's just briefly define the traditional expectations of the American dream, right? You know the one: a house with a white picket fence, a super stable, lifelong 9-to-5 corporate career, capped off with a shiny gold watch at retirement, and of course that consistent, almost guaranteed upward financial mobility. For decades, this was literally the universal gold standard. It was this one-size-fits-all definition of success, printed in textbooks and broadcast on TVs across the globe. It was highly standardized, deeply material, and fiercely individualistic. Basically, if you hit those markers, you had officially arrived.
But what does it actually look like in 2026? Well, that is the multi-million-dollar question. Because let's be real, if you hand that 1950s blueprint to a young adult today, they're going to look at you like you're speaking a dead language. The economic landscape has shifted entirely. Technology has completely rewired how we connect and work. And honestly, the core values of young people have evolved dramatically. We're no longer chasing a standardized dream, we are looking at highly customized realities. So let's dive right in and explore how this plays out, starting in our major metropolitan hubs.
Section 1. Urban Visions of Success. Thriving in the Modern Metropolis.
Now, we have this one personal story from an urban resident that just perfectly captures this shift. They told us, success isn't about owning a home anymore. It's about career flexibility, building a diverse community network, and making a tangible impact on local city policy. Wow, I mean, that right there is a massive paradigm shift. In the urban context of 2026, that traditional anchor of homeownership is often completely replaced by a desire for extreme flexibility. They want to be agile. They value building diverse, robust community networks way more than isolated wealth. And notice that focus on making a tangible impact on local city policy. This is a generation that wants to actively shape the blocks they live on, rather than just mindlessly commuting through them.
Let's break down those specific markers of success that define this urban 2026 reality. First off, it is all about flexibility and experiences over material ownership. Why buy a sprawling house when you can have the total freedom to pivot your career, travel, or get deeply involved in hyperlocal civic issues? We're also seeing a huge emphasis on tech-enabled side hustles. Think about, managing digital marketing for local cafes while running a literal vertical farm right on your apartment balcony. They want agile careers that don't tie them to a single corporate ladder. Success here is measured by freedom, the ability to live sustainably in highly walkable neighborhoods, and the absolute depth of their local network. It's really a deeply empathetic, actively engaged version of the dream.
Section 2. Rural Paths to Success. Redefining achievement beyond the city limits.
Now, listen to how this translates for rural youth today. One person shared, "My dream is revitalizing my family's land using smart agriculture, achieving total self-sufficiency, and running a decentralized digital business right from my porch." This just brilliantly captures the distinct goals out in rural areas. And looking at this impartially, just seeing the reality on the ground, success out here is deeply tied to land stewardship, but it's fused entirely with high technology. The very idea of running a decentralized digital business from a porch, miles and miles away from a city center, shows us that rural youth are no longer forced to choose between their roots and global economic participation. It's an absolute game changer. So the absolutely crucial point here is that rural youth are crafting entirely parallel yet equally valid definitions of a successful life. These digital and agricultural hybrid careers, they're the new norm. It's not just traditional farming anymore. It's deploying drone swarms for crop analysis right from the back porch. It's about deep land stewardship and ecological self-sufficiency, but combined with seamless remote work global integration. They are measuring success by their ability to preserve and modernize their community's legacy, while completely revolutionizing how they sustain themselves economically. Honestly, it is a powerful, independent, and incredibly tech-forward vision of the American dream.
Section 3. A shared 2026 vision, bridging the geographic divide.
So let's put these two realities side by side. On one hand, we have our urban markers, flexibility, local policy impact, and agile tech hustles. And then we have our rural markers, self-sufficiency, land stewardship, and digital/agricultural hybrid careers. Now, on the surface, those might look like complete opposites, but look really closely at the underlying themes here. Both groups have completely rejected that rigid, one-size-fits-all 1950s template. Whether they're fighting for local city policy or implementing smart ag tech on the family farm, both groups are prioritizing the exact same things: autonomy, purpose, and direct control over their own lives.
And really, this is the ultimate takeaway of our analysis today. Regardless of geography, young people in 2026 are united in actively redefining the dream entirely on their own terms. That old white picket fence, it hasn't disappeared. It's just been completely reimagined. For some, it looks like a thriving community garden in a dense city. For others, it's a hyper-connected, totally off-grid homestead. They are prioritizing genuine autonomy, deep purpose, and real community impact, way over the rigid historical expectations they inherited. Take a second to really think about that. They aren't failing to achieve the old dream. They have purposefully designed a better one.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to turn this directly over to you. We've explored the personal stories of urban and rural youth and seen exactly how they're boldly charting new paths. But what about you? What does your 2026 American dream look like? Are you still clinging to the blueprints of the past? Are you actively redesigning your definition of success based on your own values, your own community, and your own terms? It is definitely a question worth asking yourself today. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive, and I challenge you to go out and build your own version of the dream.